People are trying to live their lives, trying to make a living and things. Is this something that people should be afraid of, or is this something that is not as bad as the alarmists are making it?
Okay, so as a risk scientist, we don't ever calibrate well to the reality of a risk. So we really overreact to certain things, like toxins in our food. We have one of the best regulated food systems that we've ever experienced, and yet people are terrified of the food they eat. We overreact to things like not eating organic food, and we underreact to things that we should be concerned about, things like the planet warming. Here, there is a right level of risk to be concerned about with COVID-19. That's critical for people to be remember. It is a real risk, and we need to take steps to protect ourselves. But that being said, let's not overreact to it either. So, wear your mask, social distance, still live your lives while using common sense and approaching this as one of the many risks that we contend with day to day. We have to deal with the flu. It's become part of our lives. We're going to have to deal with COVID-19 until we reach that herd immunity. And we're not going to reach it until we have a vaccine. Hopefully, that could be as early as, so again, Francis Collins yesterday said very clearly, as early as the end of this year. We have 4 vaccines in trial right now, and they're looking very promising. By the end of November, we could actually get approval from the FDA if things go the way that they're going. That's fantastic news. But we have to wait until that vaccine to really be able to be completely away from this virus.
So tell us about remdesivir. It's been approved now for, this week it was approved by the FDA for children older than 12 and adults and things like that. What does this do, and how is this a game changer?
Remdesivir is a therapeutic. It will reduce the time of symptoms that a COVID patient experiences. It was one of the 3 treatments that was used with our president. So in addition to remdesivir, we also had monoclonal antibodies that's not approved yet, and it's in clinical trials, extremely promising. In addition to that, the president also received steroids. This combination of 3 therapeutics, again, is very promising, but these are for patients who already have symptoms. The point is, we have the treatments. They're not necessarily readily available in the combination that worked for the president. So let's avoid getting it in the first place, right? Yeah. We don't want to get to the point where we need to use these therapeutics, but they're there. We do have them available. Not accessible, but they're available.
Right. So, and the president has passed this right to try things, so I think that's going to open things up for people who are in highly critical states. But we saw some of the vaccine trials pause, though, recently while others are having trouble. Is there any reason to be worried about this? And does this deter you or any of your family from getting it?
So the thing about these trials is that it is Operation Warp Speed, and we need to be proud of that. The United States and the world has never seen this level of public-private partnership that we're seeing between the CDC, the FDA, pharmaceutical companies, to get these vaccines to those at most high risk. It's incredible what we've been able to pull up. And the military is involved in terms of advising on manufacturing. They're not delivering it, so we need to be clear about that. We have private companies that are taking care of distribution of these vaccines once they become available, but they will not be available until they have been proven effective, tolerable, and safe. We are not skimping on that. The United States gold standard of approving a chemical and molecular entity, which the vaccine category falls into, is not being compromised.
Right.
That will still be reached before vaccines are available to the wider public.
I know there's a lot of people actually concerned about the military getting involved, but I remind people like the nuclear weapon, the internet, and various other innovations we've seen through history have come with drastic military assistance. So I don't want people to be alarmed that the military is involved. I think it's a matter of distribution, a matter of logistics, which is what our military does best. So bottom line, what are we looking at having a vaccine that is people will actually trust? I mean, I'm skeptical right now, but I'm open to opinions. When do you think that time is?
So by November, we will either be approved or not approved by the end of November. The distribution of this vaccine, again, the military is advised on it. And yes, military has historically been involved in advising these types of massive operations. And this has been a very historic event that we've been dealing with. So of course, why wouldn't we use the best logistics team in the planet to help us figure this out? The vaccines will be available for wider distribution if approved by the end of November, by the beginning of next year for those at most high risk. The key here is for the American public to trust that they are acceptable and tolerable and safe.
Yeah.
And we are not in a good place given the fact that 50% of the American public doesn't even take the flu vaccine. So
Right.
not only do we need to step that up, we need to trust the process in which these vaccines are becoming available and take them when they become available, because that's the only way we're truly going to squash this disease.
Right. Dr. Shucha Chakraborty, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.